Hi, this is Mark from Aquamonics. I'd like to introduce you to the Rainman ET Manager. This software is designed to provide you with water savings through automatically adjusting irrigation programs based on ET values from a weather station. This software essentially pulls ET data from a weather station into the Rainman SCADA software. Calculations are performed based on hydro zone requirements, and new schedules are sent out to the Rainman field hardware, providing water when you need it and saving water when ET conditions are low. Let me show you how to set this up. This is a picture of the Rainman Central. One of the first things we want to set up is the different hydro zones. This can be set up through the main menu in the system configuration. We've got the edit station types, which is about of the auto program generator, which is a section of the ET Manager. Now you can see here we've got three station types: active sports, passive lawn and gardens. We may want to put on a fourth type, for example, for trees. At say 40% of ET. What these values are a percentage of ET which is going to be applied back to the ground based on the ET value which has been provided to us by the weather station. For example, if you have a gardens area and the ET value is say 10 mil, this would be trying to put back 6 mil. Each individual valve can be assigned to a different ET hydro zone. Once we've set that up, that's global for the entire system, and we can go into the actual controller and set up the individual station information. You have all the stations on this site. This site has got 11 stations. I'm going to right click on station 1 and I can choose which area it is. This, for example, may be a passive lawn. I have to put in the precipitation rate in millimeters per hour. This can be retrieved from your sprinkler information or via catch cups. I'm putting in 10 as an example. Now, I could go through and do each one of these individually, or I can apply this to all stations. Once I've applied it to all stations, I can come in and individually change a few other sites by right-clicking here. I might make these, for example, gardens. And maybe the last one here might be some trees. Now they've been individually changed. I could also go in and change the precipitation rate if I was using different sprinklers for the different types. Now that the actual station's information or the control information has been set up, I can set up an ET program. First thing we want to do is make sure that the site here is linked to the weather station. There may be multiple weather stations in your list if you've got multiple weather stations attached to your client. We now have an overall fudge factor, I like to call it, of ET to apply to this particular controller. This is based on that some controllers, some sites and parks, for example, might be more important than others. So you may want to apply 100% of ET to, for example, an active sports area where you've got ovals and all those sorts of things. Or you may want to have a small passive park which is just out of the way in the corner, in which case you're trying to save more water there and you're only going to apply, say, 50% of the ET which is being pulled out from the weather station to that particular smaller park. Your minimum watering value is the minimum amount that you're going to water in any one irrigation programs. The purpose of this is that it takes a certain amount of time for a sprinkler to rotate all the way around. If you're going to be applying less than, say, 3 mil, for example, here, then the sprinkler might not rotate all the way around and you'll get patches. Your maximum watering window is the maximum amount that you're going to order in one program. This is used so that if you're going to try and irrigate a large amount, say it's a very, very hot day, and you don't want to get runoff for something, say, on a hill, then you can set that value to 12 mil. Another way of doing it is if you set that value to the same as the program watering value, which is the maximum you ever want to irrigate, then you can make it so that it never goes over 100% water budget. For example, if I want to do a program which is 8 mil, and I never ever want to go above 8 mil, I can set the maximum watering to 8 mil. So that means that my water budget will never be above 100%. I can now generate a program based on the precipitation rates I put in with the stations. I'm going to start at 2100. My program watering is 8 mil, as I put in here. I'm going to generate that program. Now this is telling me that to put out 8 mil on this particular station. If I click on view mil, well, 7.2 mil it's worked out because it was a garden section or a passive turf as opposed to the active turf. I'd have to put out 43 minutes to get 7.2 mil, which is a percentage of that 100% of ET. So you can see it's actually automatically generated the program. Now, every night, what this thing will do is grab the latest ET value from the weather station and then apply it to the water budget based on what the program watering is here and scale this value up and down. For example, the program watering budget is 8 mil. If we get an ET for a day of 4 mil, it'll modify the water budget to 50%, send that out to all the controllers or to the controllers which are linked to that particular weather station, in which case this will run for half the time of this, hence putting out half the ET. By doing this, you can save a huge amount of water, particularly in those spring and autumn sort of periods when it's not too hot and you might have some of those overcast days, or you might get some of those really hot days which this might put out the 100%. So by using this, you can automatically scale your irrigations up and down based on the real data from the weather station. Thank you for watching. If you have any more questions, please contact either myself or any of our team here at Aquamonics, and we'd be keen to help. Thank you.